Hello everyone, welcome to Git commands tutorial part 8. In this tutorial we will talk about some handy commands. Git stash, git patch, and git cherry pick. These are the commands that we will talk about. Let's go. Okay, there are times that you have some local changes that you need them, but at the time you want to test something or you want to see what is your application behaving without your change. And yeah, one way to do that and just disregard your local changes is to go to every single file that you have changed and undo them or save them somewhere on your local machine and then come back and apply the changes again. That's a very hard way of doing it because you might have a lot of changes on your machine and they're in not in a single file, they're in a very different files, and keep track of these changes are very hard. There's a command that you can save all of the changes on all of the files, that you can just stash them or save them and apply it back whenever you need it. So right now, for example, I have 3-4 files changed. So if I do git status, you'll see that I have some file changes here. These are the changes that I made. And now, for a second, maybe one of my colleagues came to me and said that, can we test something? And since these files are not completed, my local changes are kind of like broken. So what should I do? I can just stash them. There's a command and say git stash. And if I send this, it says saved working directory and index step weep at this location. So since we didn't give it a name, it just saves it at this number. So if I clear this out and just say git status again, you'll see that there is no local changes. So you might freak out and say, what happened to my changes? The files that I made changes. So no worries. So you can apply the changes by saying git stash pop. And it will pop the last item that you saved, because you can do stash multiple times. It's kind of like adding to the array. It's kind of like adding to a stash or to a stack, that every time that you do pop, it applies the first on the stack, first on the array that you have. So now I have my local changes back again. So this git stash is very handy, that you can just use it every time that you want to save. Okay, sometimes you have some local changes that you want to send to your colleague without pushing to the repository. So for example, you have some fix that you want to send the file changes that you have, and just want to give it to someone else to start working on it without messing with any branch or local repository. So you can save it on a file with some git command, and then send that file to your friend so they can apply it. How do you do that? It's very simple. There is a very simple command here that you can use. I just copy it here. I have some local changes here. If I do git status, you will see that there are 3 files has changed. So I can just clear the screen and just send this command. So you can give it a name. So right now I just say patch file name, but you can give it any name you want, but just I gave this name. And it creates a file on the root directory. As you can see, as soon as I send this command, it created this file on the root directory. And now you can share this file with your friend or anyone that you're working develop branch. So in order to apply that file, so making sure that where is located this file, you have to see where this file is located and give it a path of the file. So since it's in the root folder of my repository, I just have to give the file name in order to have the path. So I would say git, this is the command for applying the change, git apply and the file name, which is patch file name. If your file is in a different location, you have to make sure that give the full path. So I say git apply path file name and patch, and it will add all of my changes. So if I do git status here, you'll see that it adds all of the changes that I had added to the file. So it's very handy when you want to share the files without adding to the repository. That you only want to apply one commit. You don't want to apply all of the changes from one branch to other branch. You just want one commit from one branch into your branch. So how do you do that? For example, I'll give you an example. Currently we have these 3 commits, right? And I want to have this commit only, the last one. I can have this one as well, but I just decide to have only this commit. How do I do that? There's a command for it. I go to the branch that I would like to apply the changes and just in this branch, I think this is the main branch that we have this change, so we can go to the different branch to apply this change. So we can go to git checkout develop. That's a branch that doesn't have this change. Git checkout develop, and now I can just apply this change by this command saying git cherry pick, and you have to give the commit ID. What is commit ID? It is listed right here, so you can find it in GitLab. If you're using Bitbucket, you can use it in Bitbucket. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 6, 7 characters are enough, but when you copy it, it will copy the rest of it as well. So when I do git cherry pick and the commit ID, it basically applies the changes that I need, and I can just git push, and it will push it to the develop branch that I want. So if I go to the develop branch this time, develop branch, then I will see change file 5 to my file, and I don't see the other commit that I was adding for the cleanup. If I go to main branch, it didn't apply some cleanup, it just applied this change 5 files. So that's the command for only applying one commit that you specify, and it's very handy.